How do you set yourself up at a dust level to get that part of your brain or your capability? What are the things that you've done to position yourself to continuously learn?
There are two things that come right to mind. And it's funny because these are also, the first is one that I generally start all sales trainings with, or workshops. It's the reminder of the I know that gremlin. The I know that gremlin is that little voice inside your head that keeps your arms crossed as a new concept is being used. And it's that I know that gremlin. And so what I mean by that is, or to say it differently, what part of learning how to learn, which is something we have to learn again. I think it's one of the greatest shames of our education system. It's this frame that like education or learning is something that happens to you and then ends at a certain date, which is nonsense, obviously. But part of learning how to learn is learning how to silence that. The second one, though, is what it's called the competency quadrant. And the competency quadrant breaks down the 4 phases of learning. The first is unconscious incompetence. And as they say, it is a blissful place to be, sitting all nice and ignorant in all that is that we do not know, right? We just don't know what we don't know. The second phase is conscious incompetence. And then it continues conscious competence, unconscious competence. But conscious incompetence is the hardest one by a long shot, because for a couple of reasons. One, you're staring in that mirror of truth, right? And so right off the bat, like what I just said about humans liking to feel smart and whatever informed, you're hit with that. And then the second thing is, at that moment when you're standing at the bottom of the hill or the bottom of the mountain, the top seems very far away. And so most people, when they step into conscious incompetence, or even think about stepping into conscious incompetence, right, they get very fearful, right? They're afraid, and most will run away. This back to conscious or unconscious incompetence or whatever. Maybe I'll just try not to think about it anymore. And so now, when I bring this up, and I bring this up for a couple of reasons. The first is that this is the reality of the situation, right? To be standing at the bottom of the mountain and feel completely and totally overwhelmed is totally normal. It happens to everybody, but it's what we do in those situations that differentiate us. But there's things that we can do to expedite the time that we spend hanging out in the hardness